Heading back to the ovals after a series of chaotic racing, and we're here at the state where everything is bigger. Texas Motor Speedway plays host to race 22 of the Integrity Octane 2023 season, and qualifying's underway with the best of the best only having two more chances to lock themselves in for the regular season's conclusion. Just a week away. The playoffs are just ahead of us here, so many drivers are already locked in, but the bubble battle is fierce. Tonight might be the night where everyone locks themselves in, or it might be the night that takes us to the final round of the regular season. It's going to be a wild card race for sure, as Brad Patton finds himself on the pole position with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Welcome you all to tonight's broadcast here on Tuesday night. It's an FTM doubleheader at the Texas Truck Series. Now the Culture Designs Truck Series will begin at 9:30 Eastern. However, you're watching here and now. Great to have you all aboard. I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and after a Monday night showdown that was very, very tricky for most drivers, the Ignite Series went to North Wilkesboro Speedway, and it was chaos till the very end. Here at the Octane Series, though, Texas a lot more challenging to pass and a much bigger circuit as well. So expect to see some different challenges as opposed to the ones we saw last night. I think the big one tonight will of course be strategy. It's a 1.5 mile circuit and passing is minimal, especially with the new repave done in 2017, adding not resin but a substance on the higher side of the track. Now it's not necessarily visible, but the PJ1 applied to the circuit means the low line is dominant. It's much different from most other intermediates, and as a result the strategy will be king if any driver wants a chance to come home and win tonight's race. At the line, going to be Sam Nito putting up another qualifying lap. He's up to 6th on the board as it stands, and looks to be that way. Going to be just outside the top 5 if that's his final lap, and it looks to be 17 drivers have taken the time already, going back to Nicholas Ward, Eric McFarlane, Jay Aishman, and Trevor Drago, the only 4 who have not yet put a lap in at Texas. Some drivers still taking extra practice laps to improve their ability to go around the circuit quicker. Looks like Rawell one of which, but he'll slide almost out of control and back it down immediately after his 4th lap begins. So with that in mind, qualifying already appears to be all but over, and with that being said, Brad Patton currently has the pole position by 42 1/1000ths of a second. Second practice coming up momentarily, and before that does occur, we'll bring you your starting grid for round 22 of the Octane Series season. And Brad Patton does look to have that pole position locked in as the track is emptied once more. Nobody on the track after the final minute of qualifying, but now we'll see a few more drivers get back in the cockpit to turn some more laps here, getting more practice. 5 minutes for warm-up before the race gets on its way. So how's about we take a look at your starting grid just before the green flag flies, looking at the start-finish line empty at the moment, but that is, of course, due to change. Brad Patton going to be on the track right now, and the number 1 machine gang to lead the field to the green flag. His best qualifying effort this season puts him on the top of the board, and just before our playoffs begin, great to get that momentum and keep himself above the cut line. Coming into the night 65 points ahead of the bubble, it might be able to lock himself in and make it a 1-driver race beyond the 12th position. So without further ado, let's get right into it and get to know your starting grid for round 22 of the Octane Series season. Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway, and the man on top of the board in position number 1 will drive the number 1. It's going to be the number 1 of Brad Patton. Pole position with a 30.195, the quickest time by 4/100ths of a second. Jacob Fife going to be scored in second with a 30.236, and just behind him, Don Stevenson coming into the night 89 points above the cut line, scores 3rd with a 30.242. Then going to be Ryan Farrell in 4th with a 30.256, and it's going to be Seth Muell, 5th position following the victory at Watkins Glen. He's going to be scored with a 30.261 inside the top 5. Then from there, Sam Nito going to be position number 6 with a 32.69. Alan Dobbs then going to be 7th, and Guillermo Alvarez will be 8th. The two drivers separate by about 2/100ths of a second. Sam Nito and Alan Alan Dobbs tie on their lap time. Jorge Canales has a 30.331 to put him in ninth, and Caitlin Height rounds out the top 10 with a 30.333. She'll put herself just inside the top 10 as the 11th place driver, Nick Tarbuck, is scored inside of row 6 with a 30.346. 12th is going to be Cody Smith with a 33.69. Ross Cato is going to be the number 12 machine in 13th, rounding out the baker's dozen with a 30.468. Alan Rawell is going to be scored 14th. It'll be Bobby Ross 0.3 of a second behind him in 15th, and Tom Wetmore already locked in with 4 wins on the season, getting it done in the playoffs already, but qualifying not going to be his best. 31.016 for Wetmore as Matt Jonas finds himself in 17th with a 31.444. Looks like multiple drivers not taking times. As we mentioned, Trevor Trago on iRacing will be given the number 18 slot on the grid, with 19th going to Jay Haishman. His best run was Daytona 2 weeks ago, and Nicholas Ward position number 20 in his number 97. Final driver on the board, brand new for this season, Eric McFarland makes his first start in the 2023 season, and he'll be 21st and last on the grid here for round 22 in Texas. That is your starting grid just before the racing gets on its way. Brad Patton going to be fastest in second practice 2. Multiple drivers on pit road right now. A few others going to be taking to the track, so still some times being improved as we speak. The final moments before the race, of course, extra preparation for many of these drivers right now, and it looks like it's going to be Brad Patton, who's very confident he'll stay down on pit road for the moment. As we get your timing and scoring screen back up, you'll see who's gone onto the track and who has chosen not to. And as we get the timing back up on the board, fastest man so far, Tom Wetmore is going to be second to Brad Patton. Patton holding on by 27 thousandths of a second right now, with 8 drivers taking times, going back to Matt Jonas and his number 15. Down to pit road is scorching number 51, and it looks like that is going to be Tom Wetmore going into pit road with a different paint scheme for him. Caitlin Haight going to be back in the number 11 Alpine Toyota, and just like that, going to be third on the pylon, 68 one-thousandths of a second off your current leader. Ross Cato going to be there in 4th, and Sam Nito is going to be 5th as he comes down to the inside of the track. Going to be a huge smash with pit road, and he'll back it down to go to pit road once again, this time by means of towing. Bobby Ross going to be back for the first time in over 4 races. Ross returning to the circuit just before the regular season concludes. Not able to make it into the playoffs though, not eligible for the minimum amount of starts required, but either way, 6th on the charts as the fastest man in second practice. Your pole sitter, Brad Patton, yet again shows he's got the speed here tonight. Second practice has concluded, warm-up is over, and now the only thing between us now and the race is one more formation lap. The virtual stands are packed here in the Texas Motor Speedway, and drivers will head to the track for the first time tonight as pit road gets full. And now the entirety of the field coming together. Jacob Fife going to be right behind your iRacing official pace car. Still not yet ahead of him though is Brad Patton. Brad able to score that pole position at an especially important time. And now, with only 2 races to go in the regular season, why not lock yourself in before it gets dicey? It's going to be Ryan Farrell still on the bubble, of course, but Patton's quite a few points ahead and should be able to lock himself in, of course, if he converts this to a victory. Even a solid top 5 will do. And right now for Patton, very confident with a lot of speed, both short-term and long-term. And as Jacob Fife begins to creep out of his pit stall, or rather his formation slot, it's time to see the cars all make their way out for the first time to the track in this race. And 134 laps going to be on the table here, this mile-and-a-half circuit in Fort Worth, Texas. And now you're going to see the drivers take it up to the top side for the first time. PJ1 on this track in the real world and also in its virtual counterpart, meaning the bottom side is dominant. Expecting to see many drivers try to roll the corner in right down low to maintain momentum. The high side not able to make it work, even if it gets developed later in the race. Odds are the low side will remain the preference for all of your leaders. Now it looks like 134 laps with the field of drivers we have here. We could see some long green flag runs. One driver making their debut in Eric McFarland, but the rest of the field with experience, and they're looking to lead the way with this rookie in mind. Hopefully we'll all stay clean until the end of the show. Brad Patton looking to get it done just before the regular season ends. Jacob Fife already locked in. Don Stevenson almost there as well, and Ryan Farrell, who's on the bubble as it stands, needs a good race if he wants to avoid being pushed out of the playoffs. Drivers come down to the start-finish line in Fort Worth for the very first time. Let's get things going in the Texas Motor Speedway. Round 22 is underway, and we're green from the Lone Star State. And as the drivers come to line, caution out already, and Ryan Farrell is in trouble. That might be his playoff run done and done already. 21st and last on the board. Farrell with major right side damage coming down a pit road, and that looks to be a huge hit on the front end. From the front of the field already to the rear, Ryan Farrell's in trouble, and we'll take an immediate replay and find out just what happened as Ryan makes his way in. You'll see the number 93 nosediving to the top, but it looks like no other contact, so we'll play it back 20 seconds before the hit and see what really caused Ryan Farrell to fall out of contention. In the front of the field, inside the top 5, they take it 3 wide very early, and it looks like some contact from Don Stevenson. He gets loose, tries to save it, had it saved, then gets even more loose and goes up, nosedives, and is destroyed with the right front. You'll see the wheel well come apart, and going back with no track position, only coming in 5 points ahead of Alan Dobbs, and Dobbs is now inside the top 5. Ryan Farrell needs to put together a major recovery if there's any chance of making it back from this moment. Farrell is coming through the pit road right now, but 1 lap down on the live feed he already is, so trouble brewing as the race for the regular season is on. And just like that, another major change. All Dobbs would have to do as it stands is keep on going on the track, and it looks like very little left for him to do if he wants to have that advantage come next week. And how about that? It's Brad Patton leading the way with a Seth Well number 9 right beside, and Jacob Fife currently going to be in 3rd. Alan Dobbs going to be 4th position, and Jorge Canales going to be 5th, with Don Stevenson 6th, Nick Tarbuck 7th, and Sam Nito then in 8th. Ross Cato going to be 9th, and Caitlin Hayter rounds out the top 10 as we are under yellow for the first time here in Texas. 1 lap of racing, 1 caution on the board, going to be all even so far as we're 3 laps through overall in this event. 134 laps here at Texas comes out to just about 200 odd miles. Doing the quick calculations here on our end, that's about the case. 1.5 miles to each lap. It's 201 miles overall, so it's going to be quite the journey for these drivers. Just a bit more than what they did at Daytona. More mileage than Watkins Glen, but it might be a bit of an easier low than the Glen. Always left turning here, but it's not an easy track either way. You see how quick things can get very, very twisted. Of course, Ryan Farrell, a very extreme example, but if you lose that footing in the groove, you'll be up and over in no time. So these drivers getting their warning early. One driver getting the best of it being Alan Dobbs, and with the regular season race now affected big time, we might see some different driving as those still inside the top 12 hope to lock themselves in, have another safe race before the championship truly is in effect. Coming down to the line this time through, it'll be lap 5 of 134. Seth Noel on the high side with Brad Patton leading first and second. Seth has been a dominant force this season. Patton still not able to officially lock himself in, but of all the drivers who have not gotten a win this season, he is one of the best. Tonight he'd love to get that first checkered flag on the board and lock himself in for good, but even a good run tonight would be absolutely what he needs to make it to the playoffs. Pace car gonna dive in this time through and let the leaders get back to work. Brad Patton will take him down the line for the first restart of the day here in Texas. We're green with lap 5 now on the board. Patton holds the advantage that time through, and you'll see right behind still Seth Noel is. 1-2, going to be able to get a bit of a separation going with Alan Dobbs then holding strong in third, and Jacob Fife then in fourth. Don Stevenson going to be fifth as it stands with Sam Nito sixth, and seventh place is held now by Caitlin Haight with some big moves for the driver of that number 11. However, for Brad Patton, things have stayed the same, and working that low line very well. Consistency is key. Fantastic start for the McConey setup shop number 1 as they're getting dicier in the back of the field. Namely, you'll see Guillermo Alvarez, Alan Rawell, and Trevor Trago. Alvarez going through a bit of a hot streak of his own. Podiums in back-to-back races, winning at Daytona, top 3 at the Glen, and he has now made it 3 podiums on the season, getting his first at Kansas, and now on a bit of a hot streak, but further back in the pack than he'd like to be right now. His teammate in Jorge Canales is up there inside the top dozen, but Alvarez still having to chase down a few more drivers if he wants any chance to compete for the top few spots. Up front, Alan Dobbs is going to go down on the inside line and take it over Seth Noel. Seth now going to be scored in third as Alan makes his way through. And Dobbs wants this win as much as a guy like Brad Patton. For the thing, of course, for Dobbs' case is that he's now under the top 12. Coming into night 13th on the order, it's a big deal for him. If he gets this win, he'll be able to jump not 1, but 2 drivers and lock himself in automatically. As a matter of fact, if Brad Patton stays right behind him, he might be able to lock Patton in too, leaving Don Stevenson in trouble. Stevenson right now finds himself 12th on the order, and that's not a good thing if another driver wins and Brad Patton stays up there. Stevenson led the championship standings earlier in the going. As a matter of fact, going to be scored just ahead of the bubble. He does not want to see a new winner come through, because if one new winner comes, it could be another. Stevenson, Brad Patton, Ryan Farrell still battling inside the bubble. Farrell's on it. Alan Dobbs is just a few points behind. Brad Patton and Don Stevenson are safer, but if Brad Patton comes home with a victory and Alan Dobbs has a tremendous run, it could come down to the final race of the regular season all the same. That's how close these drivers have been all season long. It'll come down to the 23rd and final regular season race, and right now 2 of our biggest pieces in this championship picture lead the way 1-2. Seth Noel going to hold off right now. He finds himself in the 3rd position. 250 laps at Bristol. That's what's going to end our regular season. Then we'll be going racing at Darlington. Then it'll be Talladega and the Roval. So it's going to get much different from this point onward in the season. Going to be major changes. So those who have already won are a bit safer than the rest. But it's going to all get reset and get much more intense all the same. Coming through 11 laps in out of 134. Seth Noel remains in third, just ahead of Jacob Fife, and the single file train already going to be in play. You can see that the low line is the preference for every driver. It's almost not a choice at this rate. Texas always a challenge to pass at. As we take a wide angle shot, let's expand it a bit further. You'll see everyone working it down low from the front to the back. Take a look at how Brad Patton goes down into the corner, stays high, dives right down low, and keeps it that way. Middle of the field, more of the same. Back of the field, you'll see Eric McFarland make a move, and save for Alan Rawell, everyone gets down low, and they will keep it that way. Ryan Farrell has retired from this race, and he will be scored 21st and last. That looks to be a detrimental setback, and it's going to give Alan Dobbs the opportunity to go inside the top 12 with only one more race left in the regular season. This is big for Dobbs. He just has to finish this race if he wants to be inside the playoff margin. But of course has to be a good finish if he wants to make it a bit harder for Ryan so far in second. But we saw that Ryan Farrell was up inside the top 5 and then got wrecked. Things can change in a moment's notice, and right now you don't want to be the driver who experiences that change firsthand. Dobbs getting a bit closer to Brad Patton as they come down the back straightaway, and 15 laps in, it's going to be 0.2 of a second separating your best two on the board. Seth Noel going to be third, Jacob Fife then fourth, and Tom Wetmore fifth, with Sam Nito position number 6 and Caitlin Haight then in 7th. Nick Tarbuck's 8th. Ross Cato's 9th, and Don Stevenson is 10th. And as Stevenson goes down to the inside line on Ross Cato, he tries to put another pass into motion, and it looks like it's going to be much easier for Don to roll that bottom side. Ross Cato will have a bit more momentum out of the back straightaway, but you'll see how Don uses the turn 3 and 4 entry to his advantage to stay right there in the fight. Now going to be Bobby Ross going a bit further high. He'll be on the second groove, and not much will come of it. Ross Cato getting that exit, though, to keep him just ahead of Stevenson. This is the battle for the 9th position, and right now, it looks like it's going to stay dead even. Advantage, Ross Cato. Not too far behind is Don Stevenson, and they'll continue to battle for the final spot in the single digits as we head to lap number 17 this time around. Brad Patton's the man who leads the way with Alan Dobbs then in second. It'll be Seth Well third, and Jacob Fife then in fourth. Tom Wetmore's 5th, and Sam Nito's in 6th. Caitlin Haight is 7th, and Nick Tarbuck is in 8th. 8 drivers are going to be within 2 seconds. Only 4 drivers within 1 second. And so far, it has been all led by Brad Patton as he takes the field out of corner number 2. Single file has been the move, and it looks like strategy will be the deciding factor here tonight. Trevor Trago goes down to the inside line. He has a bit of trouble, and now he watches Nicholas Ward and Jorge Canales go at it. And right now for Jorge Canales, fading back a bit further, not the run he's like to have so far, and especially with Bristol being the final chance after this, you cannot let this race slip by. Right now for the number 84, 36 points out of the bubble battle, and with Brad Patton, of course, up in front with Alan Dobbs second on the board, he might be able to leapfrog over Ryan Farrell, but at the same time, it might not be enough to get back to someone like Allen on the night of the final regular season race. He's got to step it up right now in 15th if there's any chance to make it through. And of course, for a driver who's ran oh so well as of recent, like his teammate Guillermo Alvarez, there still is a chance. The number 84 finds himself in 15th right now, right behind Nicholas Ward, and it looks like he's going to be waiting. Patience is the key right now. Knowing these laps are being logged time after time, you cannot push your equipment to the limit right now. Waiting for what is later looks to be the move for everyone except Brad Patton. Patton's led every lap so far and will take him down to the end of lap number 19, now lap 20. And as we go through this time by 22 races in, Texas Motor Speedway been mostly absent when it comes to passing. Now Seth Noel will try to make something happen down down low on Dobbs. He'll take it down to the bottom, and with the low line being oh so important, they're gonna bang doors once, and it looks like they'll try to avoid doing it twice. Dobbs up high, he'll stay there trying to work that higher side in, but Sethwell has a minor advantage going to 1 and 2, and it looks like it's going to pay off. Diving a bit deeper into the corner, still side by side, and Sethwell just barely able to make it work. Dobbs fading back into third, and now Jacob Fife going to be on his back bumper, trying to make a pass as well. Taking a look from the onboard of Sethwell's number 9 Chevrolet. He's in second right now, just able to take the final spot on the podium and give it to Alan Dobbs. Now Seth is second, Dobbs is in third, and fourth place is held by Jacob Fife. Fife going to be right there, just behind the 05. And in addition, now Sam Nito creeping into the top 5 picture, so some drivers making moves, and it looked to be mostly a single file procedure before, but now drivers getting a bit antsier, trying to make things happen. High side or low side, there's many choices right now, but not every choice being used at the fullest. Tom Wetmore now going to be up in the 6th, and after a not so impressive qualifying session, Wetmore proving about he has been so dominant all year long. Not always about qualifying for him, similar in one way or another to Kevin Maxton, number 50, that we've seen part-time this season. Wetmore makes the race more important than the qualifying session, drives his way up into contention, and more often than not able to steal a win or two away from the field. Leading all those in contention with 4 wins on the regular season, Wetmore has been a machine so far and one of the championship favorites heading into the playoffs in just a few weeks' time. We expect to see more of Wetmore as the season goes on, and right now definitely warming up for the most important segment with wild card races like Talladega. It could be best for Wetmore to avoid this incident. Everyone does, but that's Alan Dobbs, and just like that, Dobbs is going to be in trouble, fading back outside the top 10. 24 laps in, Alan Dobbs looks like suspension is damaged, and he is in big trouble. That number 05 is. He's going to try to take it down to pit road. He can't. He's stuck in the field and fading back big. Alan Dobbs is in trouble. Let's take a look back and find out just what happened here as the 05 now goes back into 16th on the order. It looks like he got very loose up to the top of the track, hit by Sam Nito, and that's going to finish him off. Nobody else involved with this contact, and just like that, it might be best for Ryan Farrell to stay out of this one, of course, and go to the next race, because now Dobbs has major damage, and that might be his chance at making any ground. He was going to be far ahead of 9 points up on Ryan Farrell, but now he might not be close to making the bubble on tonight at all. A big opportunity for Dobbs might have just gone down the window. He goes down to pit road, now scored in 20th, just ahead of Farrell, who's only 1 spot behind him in this race and 9 points ahead in the playoff standings. Brad Patton going to lead the way, 26 laps in, make it 27. He's got the advantage so far by a total of 1.1 seconds. Dominant so far early in the going. The number 1 machine has been proving his worth and proving the number belongs to this Ford Mustang. Brad Patton up on top. Seth Well going to be then in second. Going to be Jacob Fife in third, and fourth now is Sam Nito, with Caitlin Height jumping up into 10th. Of course, 10th in qualifying, up to 5th in the race now. So big gains for some drivers, small gains for others, but all the same, with some attrition early in the going, many things have changed in terms of strategy. 28 laps in, we're getting close to our stage break at lap number 54, so it looks like these drivers getting prepared for the long haul, with a caution being avoided after Alan Dobbs puts himself up in the wall. 2 laps down he is, and it looks like there's going to be trouble for him with the rest of this race in mind. The closest battle right now going to be between Tom Wetmore and Nicholas Ward. Nicholas has the inside line, which is the advantageous area on the track. He'll take it down to the bottom side and keep Wetmore up top. Tom goes up high, Nicholas stays down low, and they'll be side by side, much like Alan Dobbs and Seth Well were just a few laps ago. Nicholas going to take it down even lower here, and using that grip to his advantage. Even if Tom has the back straightaway, it's only a matter of time until Ward takes it further down and gets that spot for his own. The lap machine of Alan Dobbs gets back on the track as well. And could be a major shakeup with him getting back on the way right behind the leaders now, and he'll be just ahead of the battle we were watching with the number 51 of Wetmore up high. Nicholas Ward takes it right down low. Ward's still going to be beating back and forth with Tom, but it looks like he'll take the spot, and 10th place will be his. It looks like Alan Dobbs is going to be right now just ahead of the both of them. He has some damage on the hood, so not able to keep up, but both drivers going to take it up high on Alan, and he's going to wiggle right in front of the both of them. That's going to slow down Tom Wetmore, but Alan Dobbs getting back on the way to protect any chance he has. Now going to be scored 2 laps down, make it 3 laps down, 31 laps in out of 134. Brad Patton leads the way in a 1 caution event so far, stage break at lap number 54, and he's had dominating pace so far. Seth Noel 9/10 of a second behind, and it looks like third going to go to Jacob Fife, fourth to Sam Nito, and Caitlin Height is in fifth. How's about we take a look with Brad Patton, the number 1 machine, top of the board. Let's ride on with 1 lap here with our race leader. And you'll see that Brad Patton so far shutting the door on any chance for a driver to creep up on him. He's got major track position, but it has been shrinking. That advantage is now not as much as it was before. 8/10 of a second, Seth Wells slowly but surely clawing down the number 1 of Brad Patton. So things could change here. The race could be a bit more intense up in front. Seth gaining time, and he knows the secret to passing here. Find a gap, take it down low, and hope for the best from there on out. That's the way it's been so far here in Texas. Bottom groove, it is king, and it looks like nowhere else has been working any well to make a pass, especially higher up in the field. Looking further back, the closest battle going to be between Jacob Fife and Sam Nito. Fife has had the advantage for quite some time, but it looks like now Sam is going to be on his back bumper, taking it down the back straightaway. Jacob only leads the number 2 by 2/10 of a second. So the gap has been diminishing lap after lap, and it looks like that will continue to stay the same time after time. Jacob Fife still defending, and it's going to be lap 35 with Jacob Fife third, Sam Nito fourth. Fifth is now Nick Tarbuck, getting it just ahead of Caitlin Height, and Don Stevenson's in seventh, with Ross Cato in position number 8. And as we come through yet again, you'll see Don Stevenson now going to be in 7th, 35 laps in at 134. We mentioned Don Stevenson yet again because he's another big piece to the playoff picture. Right now, for the 47 of Stevenson, of course, inside the bubble, our former points leader early in the season has not been able to get that victory that would lock him in, but he's been very consistent so far in the championship hunt. His only big worry, of course, is if there's multiple new winners, which could bounce him out here, especially with the performance of Brad Patton. It could be Stevenson on the chopping block if this number 1 comes home with his first win of the season. Stevenson still has himself just outside the top 5, so not a bad performance at all by any means, but it could be desperation that gets him at Bristol because the championship picture is changing big. It looks like Alan Dobbs and Ryan Farrell will be very close to one another going into Bristol, but for Don Stevenson, Brad Patton might be the biggest threat to his championship run. Patton has been holding on with dominance so far, 37 laps in out of 134. Down to the line, 22 rounds into the season, Patton has yet to take his first victory. He's been on the podium before, a consistent top 5, top 10 driver, always trying to make it work differently than others, and Texas, for the most part, drives different from most other intermediate courses. So tonight, it looks like the unique character of this track playing into his favor. Patton's going to lead the way by 9/10 of a second now, slightly extending his gap yet again. Top spot going to be held by just about a second now. Brad Patton trying to continue extending it over Seth Well. Third place going to be Jacob Fife. Sam Nito going to be in fourth. And Nick Tarbuck going to see a battle right behind him. Cody Smith and Ross Cato. Cody going to take it right down low. Ross Cato up high yet again. But it looks like this time it won't work out. He'll have to get off the gas and try crossover down the back straightaway. He's got that momentum to get right back up to the bumper. No big movement yet. He'll stay right there with the Next Level Racing Chevy Camaro just ahead. Taking a look on board from Cody Smith rear view, you'll see Ross Cato going a bit up higher out of the corner. He'll try to get that draft back and lunge it down low through 1 and 2. And it looks like momentum not going to be in the favor of Ross Cato now. Was close to making it happen over Cody Smith earlier in this race, but now looks like Cody able to turn on the jets and get away. Looking for extra stage points, of course, every driver is, so this is essential. Making passes now is almost as important as making them at the end of this race, especially for drivers who are already locked in. A playoff point might be just about as much as a win for some of these drivers, especially those who have multiple wins on the board. Seth Well, Caitlin Height, Tom Wetmore, Jacob Fife, of course, they all come to mind as multi-time winners who need these playoff points too, because they will help in securing a spot inside the playoffs later in the rounds. Of course, the championship, the big prize for all these drivers with a Next Level Racing setup being given away courtesy of Next Level Racing. It's worth $2,000. It's one of their best sim racing cockpits, so these drivers know a big prize, high stakes, you don't want to mess up, and these stages are crucial to making a deep playoff run. Nancy Wetmore in the chat, great to have you aboard tonight. Of course, a doubleheader on FTN. Got a lot of content going. It's going to be the Highline Racing League Culture Designs Truck Series racing after this broadcast. If you stick around, you'll be automatically sent to the next race, and as it stands so far, it's been dominant from Brad Patton. 43 laps in, 1 caution sees Ryan Farrell go out of this race, and his rival in the playoff standings in Alan Dobbs also going to be multiple laps down. Bobby Ross recently had an incident. He's down a pit road. He'll get back on the way too, but otherwise it has been control from this number 1. Dominance to this point, looking very good as it comes now to lap number 44, just the 11 laps remaining in the first stage. And Brad Patton still holding strong. Bobby Ross going to be on as well. And it looks like it's going to be the number 44 now scored in 19th. Ross back on the move just behind the leaders. It looks like it's going to be Ross right behind Nick Tarbuck in specific. As they come throughout the stripe, 44 laps in, coming to 45. Only 2 drivers on the track are at least 1 lap down. Ryan Farrell retiring his 21st, multiple laps down, of course, while otherwise most drivers are still in contention for a lead lap finish. Brad Patton, though, putting on the clinic as the leader. He's got Seth Well 1.5 seconds behind. 22 rounds in, he has been able to turn it on when it matters most. This is the night for Brad Patton to come through in the McConaughey setup shop Ford Mustang. He's set up just right. His teammate in the Wanted Goons operation is now 13th, and it looks like he's already come down to pit road, so he has slightly newer tires, but it has not made much difference. Trago still going to be in the 13th spot with Hornick and Alice right ahead. Brad Patton looking to put it into victory lane and get the Wanted Goons their first win of the season. He has been the fastest so far all night long. Fastest in qualifying, fastest in second practice, has led the most laps to this point, and now looking to go for the victory and might be able to even sweep every lap led. I mean, the way things are going, it could happen, and it looks like Wetmore, of course, now going to be battling alongside Eric McFarland. Looks like he's got a bit more of an advantage as we look back to the drivers just within the confines of the top 15. Eric McFarland on a very solid run. The number 33, it's got a very good debut in mind, and right now just ahead of Alan Rawell It looks like he might be able to cruise home with his very first top 15. Alan Rallo goes down to the bottom side here trying to make something stick, but so far nothing. And McFarland making his way back to integrity competition with this race. Great to see another driver coming through and adding themselves to the lineup with just a few races left. We've had consistently over 20 drivers show up week after week in the Octane Series, and over 30 some come for the Ignite Series. Participation has still been high later in the season here, and it's a testament to how good these drivers are and how many are still competing for their first win. Most of these drivers have a chance to get it done as a winner, and as Brad Patton gets by the lap machines of Jay Aishman, Matt Jonas, and Brad Patton sees Bobby Orozco down to the bottom. He just made multiple drivers go one down. Now Eric McFarland is the final man within the lead lap confines, and 49 laps through, he'll be able to stay there because it looks like Brad is going to come to the stripe in just 5 laps time and make it stage break 1 of 1. Only one scheduled caution in this league, so if you got one chance to reset, you got to take it then and go from there. Lap 50 here in the Octane Series. Brad Patton leads by nearly 2 seconds now. And the closest battle is Nick Tarbuck and Sam Nito. They're now going to be side by side. You'll see Tarbuck now going to be just ahead. Looking for the quarter panel perspective, it's going to be Nick Tarbuck on that high side. Looking on the second groove, that's about as high as drivers can get competitively here at Texas. And it looks like it's going to be Sam Nito fading a bit further back. He'll try to keep himself in a bit more of a safe position per se, as opposed to going all too aggressive with time still to spare. Now, 51 laps into this event, Brad Patton going to be first, Seth Well going to be second, Jacob Fife is third, and you can see how far behind the main pack is as opposed to our leader. Absolutely fantastic showing so far from every driver, and especially from our race leader, but still, Jacob Fife, Seth Well, Nick Tarbuck, Sam Nito, Caitlin Height all have got at least one win on the season. Patton, without any sign of getting a victory throughout the campaign so far, it looks like he's got everything he needs to get through. As it stands, looking further back, it looks like for Tom Wetmore, not damage that we can see, but he's definitely having trouble riding the car through the corners, wiggling time after time, and we'll take a closer up perspective from a drone camera and see what's going on. Big time wiggling time after time, looks very loose through the corners, and he's going to slip off the track. More trouble for Tom Wetmore, and it looks like now he'll find himself almost out of control entirely, and it looks like he'll come down to the inside of the track and keep it going. Not sure what's going on with the number 51, getting it back on the way here for Wetmore. Now going to be in 16th, and just before the caution comes out, going to be put 1 lap down. Definitely not having much control later in the run, so it looks like Wetmore not able to keep it going, and he'll be up in the wall, and it looks like that will be the caution that will bring out the stage break. Wetmore down to pit road. That's going to be the night for him. Of course, in terms of contention up in front, that's a major front-end damage. It looks like something internally developing in the cockpit, and nothing that looked out of the normal before, but Wetmore's in big trouble as he takes it down to pit road. And Wetmore going to be back on a pit road, of course, and it looks like major damage somewhere inside the cockpit. Nothing we can see outside, but definitely not able to keep that car in control. Potential suspension damage, but either way, no caution coming out for Wetmore's major incident just before the stage break was intended, but it looks like that will be it. And Brad Patton will win the first stage of the day. Patton gets it done, has led every lap so far, and that is the stage win for the number 1. Brad Patton comes through and wins here in Texas, the first stage of the day. And Brad Patton looking very good so far. Dominance purely. Nobody else has led a lap. He's been extending his lead further, and he looks to have a good car, short run and long run, as we mentioned. Just like that, Patton going to be on the move down to pit road, potentially now. 56 laps on this stint. Some drivers have come down to pit road, namely Guillermo Alvarez, Trevor Trago, and Jay Aishman, but otherwise, most drivers hoping to keep it on the track. Now it looks like they're getting a chance to come down to pit road as one, so we'll take a word from our stage winner. Brad Patton gets it done, captures the green and checkered flag for the first stage break, and some crucial playoff points that are turning the tide if he wants to come through for his first win of the season. As we join in with the drivers chat right now, we'll get a word from our current race leader, Brad Patton, coming in as we speak. And it's going to be Patton, of course, the first driver we're going to talk with, the number one, leads them all down a pit road. And how's about we get a word from Brad Patton and his number one as we speak. Brad Patton going to be leading the way, winning stage one so far. It's been dominant. How do you feel about your car here in Lone Star State?
I'm currently pitting, so hold on. All right, so the car feels pretty good. A little tight, but it wasn't too bad.
And it looks like an awful lot of control there up in front, extending that lead. You had the pace to go all the way, and it looks like you're still going to be good off of pit road. So far, you think there's reason to be confident?
I just got a speeding penalty.
It looks like that's going to be a big shift, of course, on the order there. But so far, there's been pace. So you think there's a way to get back up?
I don't know. We'll see. It seems like the air is important. So who knows? Hopefully I just didn't get the announcer's jinx here. But we got good pace. I'm pretty good. So.
And you've had that pace, of course, all season long inside the green here for our, of course, playoff bubble. So you are above as it stands, but how big would it be to have a solid run here and lock yourself in?
Well, if I didn't speed right there, I was pretty good. But I think that speeding penalty is going to make me a different driver now, and now I have to actually drive my butt off to get through the field. But it is what it is. I'm happy that I've got that bubble, as you could say. But I really want to win, and I'm sick and tired of not winning, and I just jinxed myself on this, so I'll probably end up wrecked.
We'll see about that much. So far, a lot of good speed, and you said the air means an awful lot, so you think the clean air is the big advantage tonight?
Yes, way big advantage.
How about that clean air? Going to be key later in the going. Now, looks like 4 tires and fuel for everyone, so not much of a big difference there. 58 laps in. Are we going to see a green flag pit cycle?
I'm hoping we get one because I'm going to have to try to pull out a little bit different strategy, but I don't know. I think there's going to be a caution.
There we have it, our stage winner for tonight here in Texas, Brad Patton, looking to charge through the field. Any final thoughts?
I just want to get back to racing and try to improve this positioning that I got bad on now.
And there we have it, Brad Patton looking to make his way back up to lead. Dominant so far. We thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Brad Patton back on the move there, unfortunately getting that speeding penalty, and sometimes we wonder if that happens, of course, with us being involved in these interviews. Pit road's always tense as a race leader, so hopefully nothing was caused by that, but either way, Patton's been quick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back up in front. Seth Well leads the way right now with Jacob Fife in second, Nick Tarbuck then in third, and Sam Nito in fourth. Don Stevenson rounds out in the top 5, and it's going to be Cody Smith then in 6th, and as it stands, how's about we get your first Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. As it stands, Cody Smith has been fantastic this season, always a contender, and as the defending champion of the Integrity Racing League, he's looking to go back-to-back with a prize on the line. Next Level Racing providing high-quality sim racing performance products, and it looks like we're going 1 lap to green, so we'll extend our promotion to after the green flag goes out. Next Level Racing, for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best, and Cody Smith, one of the many vying for their grand prize in this season, a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Octane Series. If you want to find out more about their products, go to nextlevelracing.com for all the information. An absolutely big offer they've got, of course, with licensed products for major brands such as Ferrari, options for all sorts of budgets, all sorts of simulators, be it flight simulation, driving simulation, does not matter the product you use, but as it stands, Next Level Racing, the place to go for all your sim racing needs. of course, on the surface. Go to nextlevelracing.com for more information. We'll get the restart back on the way, and then we'll head to our promotional break. 60 laps in on the day, and it looks like for these drivers, they're looking to get back into it in full swing. Seth Well now has that crucial track position, and as it stands, it's going to be the driver of the number 9 going through double file this time by. The pace car going to come down and in, and the green flag will fly this time around for Seth Well and Jacob Fife. First restart in this second stage. We're back on our way, led by Seth Well. And at the stripe, Seth Well still able to hold himself up in front with Nick Tarbuck then in second and Jacob Fife there in third. Sam Needle going to be position number 4, and it's going to be Don Stevenson then in 5th. Top 5 separate by only 0.3 of a second, and Caitlin Haight going to be there in 6th, just within the confines of this top battle. Drivers charging through. You'll see Eric McFarland now going to be in 12th, and Ross Cato just within the top 10 as well. Ross Cato there in 11th. 10th is going to be Cody Smith right now, so up and down the order has been jumbled, and Nick Tarbuck able to grab the lead from Seth Well, and it looks like another driver taking it from the number 9. He'll stay in second, but this time it's not Brad Patton leading, it is Nick Tarbuck. Just like that, it's going to be the number 4 up in front, side by side just behind. You're going to see some contact with Don Stevenson, and it's going to be a huge drive in for Jacob Fife to keep himself there in third. Stevenson goes up high. You saw Ross Cato going to be just within the confines of this battle, but Sam Nito now ends up in the wall, and it's about as aggressive as they can get right now, side by side. Third place going to be Jacob Fife for now. Looks like Caitlin Haight now going to be in the mix, and Caitlin will go down to the bottom side with Alvarez there in position number 6. Looking on board from Sam Nito's quarter panel perspective, you'll see what's going on with the number 2 there on the back straightaway. The advantage just barely still with Jacob Fife. And Nick Tarbuck going to lead the way here. The number 4 machine out in front. Second's going to be Seth Well, and Sam Nito there in a third. Now going to be put down to 4th as they're still side by side for the final spot in the podium. All the same, Tarbuck still looking for his second win of the season, and he's looking for his first that he knows he won at the stripe. So he's still chasing something in the same vein as those without a win, trying to get it at the checkered flag and know it from the moment the race is over. He was scored as your race winner from Iowa. Seth Well was given a penalty on the restart, and as a result, Nick Tarbuck able to come through at the top spot in Iowa. But now it's going to be side by side to the bottom yet again. Seth Well will now go deep sea diving and take the race lead. Nick Tarbuck is there second. Jacob Fife is third. Sam Nito is 4th. Caitlin Haight is there in 5th, and Guillermo Alvarez is there in position number 6. Nicholas Ward going to be now just within the top 7 too. Brad Patton going to take it down to the bottom side though, and now Patton trying to make some moves to get in front of Guillermo Alvarez as well. They'll be side by side just outside of the top 5, and through, Seth Well takes him around 66 laps in out of 134. Coming down to your halfway marker. Next time around, it's going to be 69 laps to go so far. It's been a very nice run for Seth Well, but now he's got the track position to back it up. He leads so far just ahead of Jacob Fife, and now with new drivers getting a chance at the top of the board, it's certainly a different view for this number 9, the High Rock Vodka Chevrolet, as he sees more and more Brad Patton creeping into the rear view mirror. Patton's down to the bottom side. He'll be on Sam Nito's back bumper, now up to the side of it. Door to door, the number 1 and the number 2. Patton finds himself inside the 4th spot, and it looks like despite a speeding penalty, he'll go down to the bottom side, and it looks like he'll be good to go right down low and taking another spot away as Nito drifts right up high. A huge charge up for Patton. Caitlin Haight staying right there with him, and it looks like Caitlin's still working on a top 5 run for herself. Qualified in 10th has looked good to be outside of the top 5, but still firmly inside the top 10 so far, but that might change. Caitlin takes it side by side. You'll see the number 11 go up top, now down low. It's back and forth. Drivers trying to make the most of every line, and all of a sudden the high side being used by these drivers for their advantage. It looks like it's going to be Seth Well right up top yet again, as now Nick Tarbuck sees Brad Patton go down to the bottom. It could be a race for lead with Jacob Fife letting him go. Brad Patton goes down to the bottom side with a 2-for-1 pass. It's a double or nothing, and it looks like Brad Patton gets all of it and then some. Just like that, with 66 laps to go, Patton charging through. Seth Well now going to be the final driver that stands in his way. It looked to be a major penalty just before, but now it looks like it's been not a big deal. Seth Well gonna take the defense and go up high, trying to keep the back bumper of Brad Patton right behind him, but Brad's gonna take it deep and low. Just like that, the number 9 machine takes it to the high side, and for all the drivers who have tried that higher side, Seth Well, one of the drivers who's able to hold on to it for a longer period of time. Earlier in the battle between these two drivers, he was there on the higher groove, was able to make it work for a lap or two, but it's not sustainable in the long term. And all of a sudden, Brad Patton, driving as fiercely as he can, takes the race lead once again, and now finds himself up ahead, leading by just a nose at the stripe. And now Seth Well going to be door banged once and twice and then some as they come through the back straightaway all over again. Take a look on board from Jacob Fife's perspective. It's as intense as it gets. And the two leaders rubbing up the track. Seth Well, of course, a multi-time winner, the defending winner. He got it done at Watkins Glen. He's been one of the best drivers all season long. Brad Patton chasing something special here, which is his first win of the year. It's a much different mindset for Brad as opposed to someone like Seth. And Jacob Fife, the two-time winner right behind, also looking for another big win. He's locked into the playoffs already, but he'd love to get involved and get these two drivers in the mix as well. Seth Well trying to work that high side yet again. He's been able to work it much better than anyone else, but Patton has the preference, and the bottom groove will help him to go through turns 1 and 2 once again with the advantage. And it looks like Brad Patton nearly cleared that time by. Seth trying to hold on, but it looks like this time around it will be no use. Once again, Brad Patton's up to lead, and in the span of 20 laps time, Patton leading the way, goes down pit road, goes to the back of the field, comes right back up again. Seth Well has been second for almost the entirety of this run, be it to a driver like Brad Patton or Nick Tarbuck. It's been consistency for Seth, but he knows he'd love to have a chance to get that spot right back. And as they come through yet again, it's going to be 61 laps remaining. Now going to be a bit of a wiggle from Brad Patton as Brad tries to keep it all together. It's going to be Jacob Fife going down low, and you'll see Seth Well wiggling as well. The top drivers pushing to the fullest extent, all going to be shaking up and down the track, and now Jacob Fife going to see himself go right down low, trying to take that second spot with a total of only now 60 laps remaining. Tell you this much, we've got a lot of racing still ahead of us, but we'll get your first Next Level Racing promotional break of the day here and now. For high quality sim racing performance products, for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best, visit nextlevelracing.com for more information about all of their products that are provided exclusively by Next Level Racing. We'll be right back in just a moment after our first promotional break, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. with only 58 laps remaining on the board, Cody Smith currently finds himself in the 7th spot for Next Level Racing as we return to the action live on FTN. It was a fierce road, of course, battle, hogging the road. Some drivers were, but Jacob Fife now finds himself up at the front of the field. We'll take a look back to show you exactly what happened as we take a 50-second instant replay to show you the matter that changed our race lead. Its hands have been changed time and time again, and now Fife, as we said, getting an opportunity to put himself in the battle per se. Brad Patton going to be right there with Seth Well, and he'll take it 3 wide. An amazing move down low, using that momentum, and the veteran driver like Jacob Fife knows exactly what needs to be done in situations like that, and Seth Well almost able to hang on to it, and thankfully he does eventually, but that looked to be a wreck waiting to happen. Jacob Fife builds a major advantage and gets himself the race lead, and just like that, ahead by half a second over Brad Patton and Nick Tarbuck. However, now looks to be dead even between both Fife and Patton in terms of lap time. Fife might have gotten that track position, but the question is, can Brad Patton reel him back in? Even in the long run, Brad Patton very quick on that last stint, able to extend his race lead by 1.5 seconds, which is a major gap, of course, that cannot be understated. Here at Texas, it's very, very hard to pass, and if you don't make those moves at the opportune times, you're definitely going to find yourself in a lot of trouble as the night goes on. So right now for Brad Patton, the question is, can he gain that time back? He still is quicker than Fife, but it might not be by all too much here as Nick Tarbuck now goes down to the bottom side and puts himself in some trouble, going down to the low line to take that 2nd spot. Now Caitlin Height going to be looking for it, and Caitlin trying to take the podium for herself. It could be the number 11 now in the mix. All of a sudden, Brad Patton charging up hard, but it might be time for him to fall right back, which is going to mean his strategy might have to be the thing that saves him here. He mentioned trying to go on an alternate strategy to get back up in front, getting those laps led, and now fading back a bit further. Brad going to go up to the high side with Seth Noel right down low. Now with 53 laps remaining, Jacob Fife leads the way for his 3rd win of the season. Nick Tarbuck going to be 2nd, and it's going to be Caitlin Height there in 3rd. Seth Well still side by side with Patton, both of the drivers battling again, but this time they will battle for position number 5. Only one caution for cause today. Otherwise, it has been all green besides our stage break as well. It's been very, very calm racing for the most part, and it looks like for Brad Patton, that might be his big downfall here. Fading back further and further. Similar issue to what looked to be for the 51 of Tom Wetmore. Wetmore, 20 laps down, is still driving as it stands, but definitely had its troubles inside the cockpit, and that's going to leave him with a ride in the 20th position, far behind the main pack, and looks to be gaining on Jay Aishman, but otherwise not gaining time at all. Back in front, Fife leads, Nick Tarbuck 2nd, Caitlin Height going to be 3rd, and Seth Well then going to be in 4th. Cody Smith then 5th, and Brad Patton is now in 6th. Field is single file yet again with Fife up in front. And it looks like for Jacob, it's a common theme of how this number 36 gets it done, capitalizing on mistakes. Able to get that victory at Kansas, making strategy work out very well. Late in the going, a very unpredictable night in the Tornado Alley. Nicholas Ward looks to have some internet trouble. We'll see how much longer he can hang on. But for Fife, New Hampshire as well, a fierce battle side by side with Seth Noel to the very end. Noel ended up getting tapped out of the way, and Fife went on to come home with his 2nd win of the season. Now with 50 laps remaining, he's looking for win number 3, and after a mistake from both Seth Well and Brad Patton, 2 very consistent drivers all season long, it looks like now the number 36 of Fife has a chance to come through and claim his 3rd and further solidify himself as a championship contender. We weren't thinking about that early in the going, of course. He is locked in on wins, but now later in the regular season, with his victory at New Hampshire in this half of the season, and now leading at Texas, he might just be one of the favorites later in the going that we didn't expect to see when things got started. Round 22 from Texas sees Jacob Fife lead the way in front of a single file field. Now battle begins between Brad Patton and Sam Nito. Looks like it's going to be the tires falling off right now for Patton. Might be from that incident nearly with Seth Well. Might just be from driving him as hard as he can to get the lead. It looks like combining factors as Patton finds himself now right behind Sam Nito. Ross Tatum going to be 9th and Guillermo Alvarez there in 10th. 48 laps remaining and we're set to have at least one green flag pit stop the way things are going, and we'll see if that pit stop is going to be coming down to split this segment of the race, where drivers will stretch it as long as they can to try something different to come home with the win. Some big time action on FTN tonight. After this broadcast, you'll be automatically redirected to the Sin City 105, also on FTN with River Page on the broadcast. Another great presentation of the Culture Designs Truck Series. We're always having exciting races night after night on Tuesdays. Very, very exciting all throughout the season, and it looks like right now at Vegas, we're about 20-odd laps in. Coming through this time by, it's going to be Jacob Fife leading with Nick Tarbuck 2nd and Caitlin Height there in 3rd. Let's take a look further back to find out what's going on here with some other drivers in the mix. Nicholas Ward, despite some internet troubles we recently mentioned, it looks like now he's going to find himself in the 6th spot. Despite what looked to be some trouble earlier in the going, it looks to have been alleviated, and with 46 laps left, it is now Ward just outside the top 5 with Cody Smith then in 5th, Seth Well 4th, and Caitlin Height in 3rd. Top 2 separated by 0.2 of a second. And both of them still chasing a big opportunity, another win. For Tarbuck, it would be his 2nd. For Jacob Fife, it would be his 3rd. But even though they're both multi-time winners, they're definitely chasing another one for various reasons. Fife just wants to keep locking himself in, of course, getting that further advantage in the regular season to the playoffs. And Nick Tarbuck wants another one to solidify himself as a championship contender for certain. Many drivers are locked in as it stands, and almost the entirety of the playoff field finds themselves in gold on our official points graphic. Take a look at what's going on here in the Octane Series. Many drivers in gold, those are the ones who are locked in. They've made the minimum participation requirement and they have at least one win or are good on points. Don Stevenson, Brad Patton, and Ryan Farrell come into the night as the drivers who are still in the hunt on the good side. Now Ryan Farrell and Alan Dobbs both wrecked early, so they'll be dead even going into Bristol, but you'll see drivers further on back such as Jorge Canales in the number 84 still chasing a shot. He's in the red but still close enough to the bubble that there could be an opportunity to make something happen later in the going here. Bristol, the final chance with 250 laps of action there. 43 laps remaining in this event, and Jacob Fife looking to keep it the same old, same old. Another repeat winner would keep the 36, of course, up in front of the standings and keep drivers like Ryan Farrell and Alan Dobbs still with a shot to come through for the playoff spots they desperately desire. Right now, looking further back, Guillermo Alvarez is going to be trying to work on Brad Patton here. Alvarez in 10th, and after back-to-back podium finishes, now finds himself there just outside of the single digits. He'll go way high, and Brad Patton would choose to go down low, so he's going to make his first green flag pit stop, taking it down to the bottom side. The number 1 machine goes, and this could be the first competitive stop of the day. It looked to be earlier in the going. The driver of the number 1 now makes it through, and it's going to be Jacob Fife up in front with Nick Tarbuck then in 2nd. Caitlin Height going to be 3rd and Seth Well 4th. They're still out on the track, and the question now becomes, is there a chance we see some early green flag pit stops as opposed to getting them late? Tarbuck just came in this time by, so we're definitely seeing some more action on pit road. Brad Patton was the first man through. He'll be the first man out, and with smoke blazing from his pit stall, Brad gets on the move, and Nick Tarbuck comes right in in, and Nick making it down and in with the number 4 machine. He comes through, takes the pit stop, and Jacob Fife gets back on the way. Seth Well going to be in second, and Caitlin Height going to be in third. Cody Smith then in fourth, and Sam Nito going to be side by side with Ward as multiple drivers come in, namely Jacob Fife and Nicholas Ward. Now going to be followed by Stevenson and Jorge Canales, all coming through. The undercut executed by Brad Patton, and he'll come across the start-finish line here and now as he tries to make up big time. He had a 38.7 second pit stop, which would be the second quickest on the day right now. The only one quicker is Seth Wells' 38.4 second stop, which he made under yellow. So not much competition in regards to speed when it comes to pit stops compared to Brad Patton and Seth Well, two of the better drivers tonight. And Ross Cato comes down to pit road. He's not going to be in the pack with 38 laps remaining. He'll go in on his own and hopefully make it happen for the better with a final stretch just ahead. Seth Well going to be up ahead of Caitlin Height, and it looks like she'll go up to the top side trying to take a spot and make the pass. She'll go up to the high side, look for it, but not going to be able to find anything. Cody Smith now going to be in third, and all of a sudden Smith going to come down a pit road here and now, and the pit stop cycle is truly on. Trevor Trago, Guillermo Alvarez all come in at once. Brad Patton has still scored one lap down, but he's battling with Matt Jonas and looks to be ahead of everyone with the exception of Nick Tarbuck and Jacob Fife. Ross Cato getting back on the way too, but he's going to come out of the pit road exit, so being a bit slower than this main pack, it might not be the best chance for Ross to keep himself in competition. All of a sudden, their former race leader, Jacob Fife, being chased down by Brad Patton again. Maybe Brad still has an opportunity here as he'll see loads of dirty air. Drivers are still getting back on the way with Alvarez on pit road. Sam Nito too. Both drivers work their way in, and the number 83 gets right back on the way with Sam Nito there just behind. You'll see now the number 33 of Eric McFarland makes his way in. A very solid debut on the season for Eric, the number 33, 13th on the order so far, and he'll be able to cycle his way a bit further up as he gets back on the track 99 laps in out of 134. And Caitlin Height at the line will lead us to the triple digits 100 laps in. She'll take us through as Seth Well and Sam Nito now going to be on their way. Looks like Ross Cato is the man who leads the way so far. He's got a 4-car pack with Tarbuck, Fife, Brad Patton, and with Seth Well on pit road, he'll be the final competitive pit stop save for Caitlin Height. And with Seth in, Caitlin's the only driver trying to do it a bit different here. She's still on the track, has not made her way in, and the leaders are right behind as she'll come through this time by Caitlin Height's in, and Seth Well this time around is out. He'll come back out on the track, and he'll be far behind this leading pack. It looks like the undercut worked out best for these drivers. Nick Tarbuck leads, Jacob Fife is second, Brad Patton will be effectively third, and it looks like it'll be now Ross Cato scored in fourth. Some big gains and big losses in this pit cycle, and Caitlin Height risking it as Jay Haishman blows a motor. That's his day. Brad Patton gonna come around with Tarbuck, Fife, and Ross Cato, and it looks like for Caitlin, not enough. It's a 4-car pack at the end of this one. 34 laps remaining. Alternate strategy for some drivers running a bit longer, but overall, the undercut is the way to go, and now we've got ourselves a small bundle of drivers looking to prove they're the best of the best as we get to the test here in Fort Worth. The Lone Star State sees a final run just ahead of us, and with 34 laps remaining, your top drivers will take it through. Nick Tarbuck now going to be working with Alan Dobbs here, and it's 3 cars getting away from Ross Cato as we look further back. Ross Cato 4th, Nicholas Ward going to be 5th, Sam Nito 6th, Seth Well going to be 7th, and Guillermo Alvarez is in 8th, with Caitlin Height 9th, Jorge Canales 10th, and Cody Smith for Next Level Racing there in 11th. And for Next Level Racing, high quality performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. We'd love to have you join as a member of the Next Level Racing family by getting into their product lineup, an incredible lineup for all sim racers, no matter the software, no matter the budget. Check out nextlevelracing.com for more information. As with 32 laps to go, we'll bring you a special presentation from our friends at nextlevelracing.com. 21 laps to go. The lead battle is heating up here on FTN. Texas Motor Speedway playing host to round 22 of the Octane Series season, and lap traffic going to be right in front of these drivers. You'll see it's going to be Alan Rowell going down to the bottom side, Tom Wetmore up top, and this lap traffic might be enough for some drivers to make the move and try to chase down the lead. Jacob Fife has it. Nick Tarbuck and Brad Patton are still on the back bumper, and the number 43 of Alan Rowell will see the leaders go by in a moment's notice. Take a look off the quarter panel camera here as Jacob Fife tries to go down low. It looks like he's got a shot to take it deep, and that he will. Nick Tarbuck will follow him, so will Brad Patton, and with 29 laps to go, the three-car bundle up in front, looking to make it by even more lap traffic. Jacob gonna work it down low. It looks like not enough to pass that time by. Allen stays up on the high side though, and it looks like it'll be easy work for all of the top drivers as they make their way through. Look on board with Jacob Fife. Alan Rowell now out of the picture as they come to the stripe with 28 laps remaining. And only 0.4 of a second separate your top three drivers here, with Jacob Fife 107 laps in, leading the way, set for his third victory of the 2023 season. He's been fantastic so far and just needs to finish it off in the home stretch if he wants a chance to win yet again. Especially competent this season, and he's been especially competitive as of recent, from what was a solid season at best to now a very, very competitive effort, as we mentioned, consistently up there for top fives, podiums, and even wins. Jacob's got a shot to go for yet another and tie himself for second on the board. That's how quick this number 36 has been, and it looks like now it's two-car bundles going for their respective spots. Brad Patton going to be there with Ross Cato, Nick Tarbuck going to be there with Jacob Fife, and with 108 laps in on the order, they'll come around to the stripe yet again and take it down to only 26. At the line once more, Nick Tarbuck staying in the draft here, trying to make something work, but so far nothing has come of it. Maybe Tarbuck saving his stuff for later, or he doesn't have much left in the tank. It's still up to the viewers to decide here. I think it's up for all of us. Tarbuck, of course, still looking for the win, but might not be able to hang on here. He fades back a bit further than usual, loses several hundredths of a second on that lap alone, and now it looks like it might be Jacob Fife pulling a bigger gap than anticipated. Just like that, 25 laps remaining here in Texas, and Jacob Fife gonna stretch that gap. The closest battle on the track right now appears to be further back for position number 11. Cody Smith, Jorge Canales battling to stay inside the top 10, and right now the 84 going to be just within the confines of that top 10. Cody Smith looking from the outside, but that could change here as Cody continues to use that draft to stay within arm's reach. They'll go down to the bottom side yet again, and for Texas Motor Speedway, drivers are always challenged. The bottom side being such a preferred groove, passing is hard, but Cody Smith has enough of a run to go right down low and take the spot away. Smith gets it done, and that's 10th place with Jorge Canales up to the top side in the 11th. 24 laps remaining as they come around to the line to make it only 23. Jacob Fife has led us through so far, and with only 23 laps to remain, of course, up next, as always on FTN, we're going to crank it up with 22 laps to go. Track Cams for Gormans provides the highest quality iRacing cameras for over 100 track and car combinations. If you want to use their high quality products, be sure to go to their Facebook page, which is Track Cams for Gormans, or go to trackcams22.com. Now with 22 laps to go, we're going to crank it up courtesy of our friends at trackcams22.com. Uninterrupted, let's crank it up here in Fort Worth. And the caution will fly with 18 laps to go for Sethwell and Sam Nito. They're still wrecking, and the caution is out. Big hit, and just like that, everything changes with a late race restart. Are you kidding me? Two of our best competitors, biggest contenders all race long, all of a sudden come down a pit road at the same time. It could be race-ending implications for both of them and race-changing implications for the rest of the field. Let's take a look at this battle between the 2 and the 9. Sam Nito, Seth Nwell, both always up at the front of the field, but now they'll find themselves 14th for Sam Nito and 11th for Seth Well. Seth still on the track, but Sam Nito not so much. Seth goes down low, Sam tries to defend it. They're going to lock up into the wall, and they're both taken up to the high side of the track. I'm not quite sure if Seth Well had control, and they were both taken up from there, but certainly not happy these two drivers are, and we'll take a look inside the cockpit, as that certainly looked to be both drivers having enough of each other and taking matters into their own hands. Instant replay yet again. Let's watch on board and find out what in specific happened, as it's chaos ensuing just before the 15 lap to go mark. And it looks like by that point, not turning as much left as before. And for Sam Nito, we'll take a look inside of his cockpit, because that might just tell us another story. Certainly two frustrated drivers as we take the instant replay. And it looks like here, with sizzling temperatures in Texas, the heat of the racing has boiled over. And we'll take a look from the cockpit of Sam Nito to find out what it was like from his perspective. Let's find out. And he was certainly still turning left in a much different capacity, and just like that, both drivers going to be wrecked out of this race, at least effectively, in terms of competing for the win. That is huge damage on both front ends. Nasty hit for the two of these drivers, and just like that, 16 laps to go as we take it back up in front. Jacob Fife, the man who leads the way, and now that we are back on the move, it looks like some drivers opting to go down to pit road. Eric McFarland, Alan Dobbs, Bobby Ross going to be there too, and it's a huge shuffle up here as the field not all too organized. Lappers at the head of it, and it looks like for the rest of these drivers, they're laying back. Cautions out yet again, and just like that, now 15 laps remain. Huge hit for Seth Well and Sam Nito, and it looks like for Seth Well, might have gotten tight, might have just been having enough. It's unsure, of course, from this perspective, but the video shows you Sam Nito definitely took that corner different from Seth Well. That might be the determining factor in that incident overall. Jacob Fife with the edge. 15 laps to go. Can he hold on for the race win? That remains to be seen. So far, your top 10 goes as follows. Jacob Fife leads, Nick Tarbuck is in second, Ross Cato is in third, and Brad Patton is fourth. Nicholas Ward going to be fifth with Caitlin Heighton sixth. It's Guillermo Alvarez seventh, and Jorge Canales eighth. Cody Smith is ninth, and Trevor Drago rounds out your top 10. One more time tonight on FTN with Cody Smith and the Next Level Racing Chevrolet, bringing you high-quality sim racing performance products. As always, dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best should go to nextlevelracing.com, the best place to go for all your sim racing needs. A proud partner of the Integrity Racing League year after year, starting a big partnership this year, and we'd love to have them for the years to come. And giving away a major prize at the end of season, every driver in the playoffs chasing a sim rig worth $2,000, and every one of these drivers in the top 12 will go for gold at the end of the 30-round season. We'll be right back after our final Next Level Racing promotional break of the night, and we'll be right back before the race gets on the move with our only fourth restart of this event. We'll be right back on FTN. Stay tuned as the final few laps are just ahead. And coming back with 14 laps to go, it will be a baker's dozen to get to the finish. Just 13 laps left. That's the way it's going to go for all these drivers looking to make it to the home stretch. They're all on a new set of Goodyear rubber, and timing and scoring will show that. Multiple drivers now at least one lap down. Eric McFarland going to be one down. Bobby Ross as well. Seth Wells 2 laps down. Sam Nito 4 laps down. Alan Dobbs looks to be 3 laps down. So timing and scoring shuffling those who are outside of the lead lap, but with 14 laps to green, let's get back at it with Jacob Fife leading the way. We're back underway with 13 laps remaining here in Texas. And Jacob Fife holds that advantage as we go through turns 3 and 4, able to keep himself out in front nice and smooth. And it looks like even in the short run, Fife still has that speed, with Brad Patton being blocked by Nick Tarbuck and Ross Cato. Cato looking for another podium in the second half. He's been red hot as of recent, cooled down a bit at Daytona and Watkins Glen, but now looking to get back on the fire once more and put himself inside the top 3 in discussion for another big podium. Ross Cato, as it stands, the only driver on timing, of course, with the standings to be locked in before the playoffs on points. That's how solid he has been in gold already. Absolutely fantastic work for Ross as he continues to defend upon Brad Patton. But with 11 laps remaining, Jacob Fife already breaking out to another lead. Nick Tarbuck not able to grab anything on him, and now it's going to be an 11-lap dash to see who's really got what it takes to the finish. Right now, Fife still has the edge, but Nick Tarbuck does not have himself down and out. So he's still looking. A quarter of a second separates your top 2. Take a look on board with the man in second. Here, just a quarter of a second off from your main man, Jacob Fife. 10 laps to go. Nick Tarbuck still chasing this top spot. It looks like Alan Dobbs had a bit of a wiggle off the corner there, but it's not going to be a yellow flag. He's going to lose 2 seconds on his pace this lap, but nothing else too major. Nick Tarbuck still going to hold his own here, fighting to keep himself within the leader's confines, and he still has a major battle right behind. You'll see Ross Cato on the back bumper here, nose to tail. The number 12 finds himself in the podium yet again, and it looks like for the only driver locked in on points only, Ross is going for a top 3 to make it another in this second half. Just consistency that's been key for Ross to keep him in the playoff battle. Jacob Fife going to be right there, the number 1 spot on the board. It's going to be Fife still, and with 9 laps to go, coming to 8, he's only got a little bit of time before he can put another one in the books, but not without some major competition. You'll see Nick Tarbuck, Ross Cato, and Brad Patton all there as well. And as they come across the line, yet again, it's only 8 laps remaining, with Patton trying to dive down to the bottom. And it looks like he's going to try to drive as hard as he can now, with Nicholas Ward and Caitlin Heights absolutely doing more of the same. They're going to take each other way down low. It looks like Nicholas Ward still looking for 5th, has not gotten it just yet as Caitlin continues to block. She'll go low, she'll go high, they'll touch the grass just a bit, but no big change between the both of them. Now Caitlin still holds the 6th spot, down to the 5th as Brad Patton goes by for 3rd, trying to chase down both Nick Tarbuck and Jacob Fife with only 7 laps remaining. And now Nick Tarbuck only within 15 hundredths of a second, the closest he's been all of this run, and about the closest he's been since the pit cycle. All of a sudden, Jacob Fife having a bit more competition than before, and it might be enough to change the way this race is ran all the way to the finish. 129 laps in, Fife has gone a very long way as the leader, but it could be in jeopardy now. That time by Nick Tarbuck was quicker than Fife. Nobody else on the track is quicker than the leader except for Nick Tarbuck. That's how fast he's been. Brad Patton might be closer, but the pace is not there to get back in this leading battle just yet. At the line, though, he definitely looks to be quicker, and that he was. 30.332 upon further calculation. It looks to be 0.04 of a second better than Tarbuck and about 1/10 of a second better than Jacob Fife. It could be a 3-car race at the end as they go down low. Nick Tarbuck takes him deep. Jacob Fife's going to fall for the bait at first, then come right back up. Side by side, Jacob Fife is high, and it's going to be 3 drivers dueling, and it could be more than a duel now. You'll see Brad Patton and Ross Cato still there. Make it 4 laps to go. Jacob Fife leads, and it's still a marginal advantage as they come across the stripe once more. Brad Patton dives deep, going for the second spot now. Nick Tarbuck tries to hold on. Off-corner exit, some more momentum at advantage. Brad Patton with a push from Ross Cato. That will keep him inside of the top 3, and it looks like now he'll have a chance to get by Tarbuck, but that could be the saving grace for Jacob Fife. At the line, 3 laps to go. It's going to be Jacob Fife taking him through, and it looks like now he's got a major edge over the field. That might have been the nail in the coffin for anyone else, but Patton now dives deep, gets ahead. Tarbuck gets loose, and it is now going to be 2.5 laps to settle it between the 36 and the 1 once and for all. The one and only trip to Texas on the Octane Series schedule will give Brad Patton only 3 miles of opportunity when they come across the stripe yet again. Jacob Fife from the rear view camera here will be absolutely hounded by competition as it's now only 2 laps to go in the Texas Motor Speedway. And coming across the back straightaway, 1/4 of a second now. It looks like Patton is about 1/10 of a second quicker each and every lap. That might be enough to make a charge at the very end. Fife trying to put that power back in, but you can see he is on the track perfectly, running it like a slot car. Brad Patton has a shot, but Jacob Fife has the edge. 1 lap to go here in Texas, and Jacob Fife will lead him down with the white flag in hand. Can he hold on for the checkered? 2/10 of a second between your top 2 drivers. 1 lap machine just ahead. That will be Seth Well. He'll go off of the track, and he will let the leaders by. Jacob Fife goes through 3 and 4. Brad Patton dives in deep, takes it down to the bottom, but for Jacob Fife, the track position will hold on. At the line to conclude another exciting race, the Lone Star State sees Jacob Fife win round 22 from the Texas Motor Speedway. Fife comes through for win 3 on the season. Patton rebounds for second, and Nick Tarbuck, oh so close, comes through in 3rd. If you're sticking around on FTN, you'll be automatically redirected to our next race, and after such a thriller here, I'm not sure if anyone can top that on the night. Big one for Fife, win 3 for the 36, and he's back on top yet again. Jacob Fife gets it done. Huge win for the number 36 as he comes down to burn it in Texas. A huge performance for your league owner. It's his 3rd win, and now he looks to be a championship contender all over again. The number 36 of Jacob Fife swaps hands with front row mate in Brad Patton, 2nd to 1st and 1st to 2nd for your top 2. Nick Tarbuck going to be 3rd on the results page, and Ross Cato going to be in 4th, and 5th place is going to be Caitlin Height. Cody Smith going to be position number 6 with Guillermo Alvarez in 7th, and Nicholas Ward is in 8th, with Jorge Canales 9th and Trevor Trago rounding out the top 10. And the 11th spot is going to be Alan Rawell, the final man on the lead lap. It's Eric McFarland on return, 21st to 12th, with Bobby Ross 13th, Alan Dobbs at 14th, and then it is 15th is Matt Jonas. Seth Wells 16th with Sam Nito then in 17th, and then Tom Wetmore in 18th with Don Stevenson, position number 19. It's Jay Ashman then in 20th, and to round out the 21 car field, Ryan Farrell comes home 133 laps down after a lap 1 incident. Now time for Fife to burn down the house here in the Texas Motor Speedway. for Jacob Fife. The celebration on the front straightaway, some contact between teammates, but it's all about your winning man as Fife comes through and gets the victory here in Texas. Round 22 is his, and it's going to be a big battle in Bristol, but for Fife, he's focused on the now. Another win, another big celebration, and he'll come back down to pit road to top it all off and make it to his pit stall. We'll be right back with your top 3 interviews here on FTN after a brief interruption and break courtesy of iRacing Motorsport Simulations. We'll be right back after this brief message. Thank God for your support so far. Stick around for our podium interviews in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And as we return after a fantastic race here in Texas, Jacob Fife comes through for his 3rd victory on the season. The Lone Star State sees Jacob Fife come through with some strategy and race pace to go alongside, back in victory lane just before the playoffs, and some big momentum heading into the championship racing. How do you feel after this one?
I feel pretty good, man. That was a hard-earned win. Brad was definitely really good that first run there. Seth had a lot of speed, and then Tara Buck was really great on the long run. So I felt I was fairly consistent tonight to be able to put myself in position. And I kind of let them guys kind of duke it out, kind of not take each other out, but definitely wear their stuff out to where I could take advantage of them racing each other, and then kind of try to get control of the field and the pace and put myself in a good position. And so I'm really, really happy about this win tonight, because I was not wasn't great in practice. So I'm pretty excited about this one.
And Texas very challenging to make some passes. We saw, especially during that first run, nobody able to get by those up in front, and all of a sudden, able to sort of flip a switch here, it seemed like, and you kept that lead, getting, of course, some big momentum on the final pit stop run, and were able to carry it home till the very end. So what did you learn about the track as it went on to really make that difference for the win?
Definitely had to manage your right rear tire tonight. You could shift in 1 and 2 down to 4th and kind of manage your car's balance really off of that. So kind of choosing when to do that and when not to, trying to keep the right rear on it. But really was just, I think the crucial part of the race was when Patton and Seth there were battling, and they're just wearing their stuff out, to be honest. And we were just kind of riding, and I was going to continue to ride behind them, and they ended up getting a really bad run off of 2, and I had to take it. So we went 3 wide there, and I beat them into 3, and that really changed the dynamic of the race. And I could kind of, because it's so hard to pass, could kind of really take control of the pace and just manage from there. Obviously, the last restart was really not what I wanted to see. That last caution, I should say. Brad's super fast. I think 2 more laps he would have got me for sure. So. Glad that wasn't any longer than it was tonight, but definitely managing your tires, managing your run was a big deal tonight.
And management of every factor comes together, and that's exactly what brings you back to victory lane just before our final night of the regular season. It is Bristol, baby, and it's going to be a tough one for all those who are just barely barely trying to make it in, you have the luxury of not worrying about it in that regard. You've got victories, you've been consistent, you're already locked in. How's it going to be driving with, of course, a lot on the shoulders of many drivers in this field?
Yeah, I mean, Bristol's going to be a really hard race. I think doing short track races in iRacing in general, much less leagues or when playoffs are on the line, are pretty difficult. So just in one sense, I don't have anything to lose, so I can race pretty hard. But on the other hand, I really don't want to get in the way of other people. Don't want to make any bad blood before we go into the playoffs. So that's kind of the back of your mind too. So we'll probably manage our stuff. I feel like I'm pretty good at Bristol. I think we can come away with a decent finish, but it's really just going to see how the race plays out. What kind of what kind of mindset some of the other guys are in who might have to race their way in, and just try to manage our race from there.
There we have it, Jacob Fife with another victory on the board. Big momentum before the regular season closes, coming through the Lone Star State with round 22 in hand. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast for us. Y'all always do a great job. Thank our sponsors, Next Level Racing, and my sponsor, Pro Powder and Paint, for helping put on the league. Thank you all to the admins who help out with running things, and all the members who come out and make it possible. Without the members racing each week, we wouldn't have a league to begin with. So thank all of them. Enjoyed tonight's race. It was a lot of fun. And looking forward, I can't believe it's here already, but looking forward to getting started with the playoffs here in a couple of weeks.
And there we have it, a successful 2023 campaign so far, and the Pro Powder and Paint Chevrolet back to victory lane in the Lone Star State. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Here you go. We have it. Jacob Fife going to be back on the move, and Brad Patton, the second man on the podium, able to come through in a very fierce battle with the final stretch. Patton comes through for a second place finish, just behind Jacob Fife in a close race till the end. How do you feel after tonight?
I'm exhausted, man. I was pretty upset earlier. I don't know. I just driving the car too hard there on that second stint. Thought I didn't have anything for anybody. Fell back to like 10th or something. And then that caution came fully enough to get back up to second, have a good finish for once, and hey, I came home in one piece. That's all I could ask for.
And all around, one of the quickest cars all throughout this event, from qualifying to second practice and in this race, and exactly what you need just before the playoffs get started. So all around, able to make that finish work, and after that second run with the caution, looking, you definitely had something for the best of them up in front. And even on that pit cycle, able to use the strategy to get back up in front. So how was it working with that strategy, making gains till the very end?
Well, I knew once I started falling back there because I tore up my tires coming through the field. After that, I got speeding in the pit stop, so I had to change the strategy up. The original strategy was go 50 laps and finish from there, but yeah, we just took it. I was like, you know what, we're at 35 or 37 or something like that to go. I was like, I'm going to throw it into pits. I'm going to put 4 tires on it, and hopefully I come out here. And thankfully, I came out in like 4th or 3rd, following Jacob and Nick, and I was just ready to go to battle with them. And then the caution came out, and you seen we all battled there at the end. It was tiring, man. This track is pretty fun, and learning the lines, learning where the braking points are, downshifting. The Gen 4 fixed at Homestead actually helped me out with this race, because I wouldn't have been able to fast if I didn't what my braking was able to. You know what I mean?
And all throughout, still able to come through with this second place finish, another podium on the board, and with one more race before the regular season ends, Bristol, always chaos, short track racing, and I think would be safe coming out of the night with the point standings, but either way, what's it going to take to really solidify the momentum heading into the final few races?
Well, speaking of Bristol and the point standings, if I'm good enough to be in the playoffs right now, I don't think I'm going to do Bristol. I need to take like a week break from sweating this much, because I know how Bristol is. It's not one of my favorite tracks. There's a lot of chaos. It's just a headache. So if I could not race that race, that's the goal. But no, at the start of the season when we had our first interview together, I said consistency consistency was going to be the key into making the playoffs. And that, and as you can see, we have a list of drivers that have been consistently top 10 for the whole season. And I just want to be one of those drivers, make the playoffs, make the first cut. Oh, I don't even think we have a cut. I just want to make the playoffs, and then maybe I'll get a win. And I think I got that announced for Jinxo when you came and interviewed me earlier.
Still chasing that very first win on the season, all the same, looking for the podium and getting that one. Brad Patton comes home second tonight here in Texas. Anything more you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Wanted Goons, one of the drivers for the team, me, Trevor Trago. Give a shout out to Brady. Give a shout out to Carson, and I'll give a shout out to Scott, Reed, and all of them over there at Wanted Goons. Coney Setup Shop for providing the team with some good sets, even though we're not doing it in here because it's fixed, but our boys are doing pretty well with them. So I'm glad that partnership's going really well. And then thank you for broadcasting. Thank Integrity. Thank the boys here in Integrity for respectful racing. I mean, everybody gets on each other a little bit, but it's all in fun. And a little suggestion though for you: no more interviews during a pit stop, because that threw me through a loop.
Well, there we have it. Brad Patton will keep an eye on you pre-race and post-race, all the same. Once again, getting it done. Second on the board here in Texas. Thank you for your time.
All right, Dave. You have a good night, brother.
And there we have it. Brad Patton going to be on the move. Third place going to be Nick Tarbuck, and we'll get a word from the driver of that number 4. And it looks like at the moment he's not in any voice chat. Not usual for him. He usually sticks around. But either way, we'll get a word and try to find out if we can keep up with Nick Tarbuck, who comes home with a podium. And it looks like right now, not in the voice chat yet again, but we'll call him in. If not, we'll wrap the stream up on that note. Looks like right now, still not with us, so we'll wait just a moment. Nick Tarbuck third, Brad Patton second, and in first, Jacob Fife. That's your top 3 for this race, and all the same, it's going to be separate by 0.6 of a second. It looks like Nick Tarbuck going to be coming back soon, so we are going to get him in right now. Looks like he just got in the voice chat. Nick Tarbuck third on the day, coming home with another solid podium finish, and within the battle for lead till the very end. How do you feel after tonight's race in Texas?
Pretty good, man. Third place is about on par with how we're going this season. So top 3, top 5. Can't complain too much. Didn't get much practice in. Didn't really like the way the car was driving, but we made the most of it. I guess nobody liked the way it was driving based on how it was going. So, yeah, man, can't complain too much.
And Texas has been very challenging for drivers in the real world and iRacing tonight. Not much of a difference. Hard to pass all throughout. And it looks like, even though that was the case, you made some big moves and kept yourself in the race up in front. What was it like dealing with that all throughout the night?
Yeah, first run was a little easier because people were mixed up a bit more. So I was able to save more tires and get up to the top 5 pretty quickly near the end when everybody else's tires were falling off. But yeah, the second 2 runs were not easy because you just really couldn't, once you're on even tires, you really couldn't make any moves on the guy in front of you unless they screwed up because there was just such a aero advantage being the lead car. So that was kind of the big issue the whole night. It's just impossible to really pass the person in front of you unless they made a mistake. But I guess it's realistic in that sense, huh?
I guess realism does come through tonight with all the troubles for most drivers, but still, we saw some strategy and some yellows that changed it up. I mean, very late yellow with only 13 laps of racing left. How much did that impact your strategy?
Yeah, I was debating 2 or 4 tires, ended up taking 4. Was it the right decision? I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice to get track position. I feel like that's what really mattered. And we didn't have many laps on the other tires, but yeah, it was just basically take 4 tires, take enough fuel to make the car feel a little looser, make it rotate more, and just see what happened. But I knew as soon as I got caught and didn't break out to the lead that it was pretty much over because it was just so hard to pass. But we almost got there.
Able to come through very close for the win yet again. And either way, this regular season, very solid and putting in good performances week after week. You're locked in as it stands to the playoffs, but Bristol, always a challenge. Can you keep it going and maybe go for a few spots up?
Yeah, I think so. Bristol's always been a pretty good track for me. I really enjoyed racing it. It's like a mini Dover, and I love Dover. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Bristol. It's always fun. It's really fast. makes it really kind of get you dizzy a little bit. You gotta pay attention, but I think it'll be a fun race. And yeah, man, I'm itching for a win here lately. I'm tired of coming up short. I need to get a win, so I'm starting to get the mentality of do whatever it takes.
Looking to get back on top for the checkered flag, Nick Tarbuck comes through for a third place finish here in the Lone Star State. Anything more you'd like to add?
No, man. Thanks for broadcasting, as always. Thanks for the admins for putting on a good race. Thanks to everybody who watched, mom, dad, friends. And we will see you guys next week, Bristol.
And looking for another exciting show in the Bristol Motor Speedway, Nick Tarbuck comes home tonight in third, round 22. Thank you once again.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
And there we have it. Nick Tarbuck going to be on the way, the final man in the podium. And it looks like right now, Jacob Fife, your race winner with Brad Patton second, and then in third, it of course is Nick Tarbuck. A big win for every driver up at the front of the field for those locking themselves in. Brad Patton looks to be the man who comes through and puts himself in gold. Jacob Fife already locked in, makes it happen and gets his third win. Big gains for him all the same, and the playoffs coming up very soon. One more regular season race going to be Bristol, which is going to be next Tuesday night. Stick around for the 250 lap feature to decide who makes up the 12-car field in the Integrity Octane Series playoffs for 2023. Thank you all for watching Night on FTN. As always, presented by myself, David Kreutz. Great to have you along viewing this event. If you enjoyed tonight's presentation, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we hope to have you whenever we're live again on FTN. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Octane Series, and hope to see you as viewers once more whenever we're live on FTN again. We thank you all for your support tonight, and we hope you have a great night. After this broadcast, you'll be sent immediately to the full race replay of the Culture Designs Truck Series and the Sin City 105, so stick around for that, and you'll be automatically redirected to our next race on the day. Thank you all once more, and we hope you have a great night yet again.